the Goodwin e-racing series. Today, coming to you from the absolutely fabulous track in Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps, and we are using the Formula One car, the F3500. So without further ado, let's get this race going, but we'll run through qualifying first. We've got Cez on pole position, Dan in second, Ricardo in third, Michael in fourth, Matt in fifth, Mike in sixth, Richie 7, Sean 8th, Ming 9, Zoe 10, Barry 11, Chavez 12, Nathan 14th, Sean 2 in 15th, and Simo in 16th. So let's get this race underway and see how things go. And we're off. Good start from the front row. Bit of a slow start there from Pickles. Drop back through the field a little bit. Oh, bit of argy-bargy at turn one. Matt gets pushed off with Michael. Few going wide there. Oh, somebody's spun in the background. But Dan is leading the way from Cesar. Nathan's made a brilliant start up to fourth place. Nathan running third now. Mike fourth, Sean fifth, Matt sixth, Pickle 7, and Sean from the rear of the grid gone from 15th to 8th. Brilliant start from Sean there. So few people have obviously gone the wrong way, and some have gone the right way. So we can see Dan leading. So as they go through Brussels now for the first time, through Speaker's Corner, we're following Cez. Mike's got himself up to third. Nathan with a bit of a wiggle there. Nathan down into fourth. Sean fifth now. So Matt's just gone to fifth. Sean to sixth. Pickle 7th. Look how close this lot is. Really close. So we'll let the race settle down. Pickles there, 7th. Richie in 8th. So Zoe there running in 10th. We'll get this first lap or so out of the way. Okay, so that's lap 1 completed with the running order. Dan in first, Cez is second, Mike in third, Matt in fourth, Pickles 5, Sean 6. Well, it's all coming together. This group is really tight. Oh, Nath just go for a bit of a lunge there. What's happened? Oh, Richie's off, so I wonder if there was contact between Nath and Richie. So Richie's recovered, but dropped down to 12th. So I'm sure we'll see a brilliant comeback drive from Richie. He's one of the quicker guys within the group. Okay. So it's back to Dan. So Dan leading the way in his Lewis Hamilton liveried car. Cez running in second, Mike in third, Pickles 4, Matt there in fifth, Sean in 6, Zoe in 7, Sean 2 in 8th, Nathan's dropped back to 9th, Simo running in 10th. Richie's already made a place back up to 11th. Ming running 12, Chavez 13, and Michael 14th. So Michael's obviously had an issue during that lap. So we've probably seen here that Michael is running in the very famous Jordan 191 livery from 90, I think it was about 91, 92, where Michael Schumacher made his debut in the Jordan at Spa. Very poignantly, unfortunately, Eddie Jordan very sadly passed away earlier this week. So lovely tribute from Michael there to run the Jordan livery on his car for this race. And I think as well that if we find Sean somewhere, there he is, I think he has a tribute to Eddie on the side of the car as well. So nice touches there from Sean and Michael. Oh no, Cesar's made a mistake. Cesar's gone off, dropped from second. Where's he going to recover back to? He's dropped in behind. I think he's going to drop in behind Sean. He's got going again. He's behind Zoe. So Cesar's dropped all the way down to 8th. So these cars are quite sensitive to the curb. So I wonder if Cez may have touched the curb on the driver's left on the inside of Blanchimont there, which will have spat him out. So Cez has dropped all the way down to 8th. So I'm sure Cez will get back up there because he's definitely the fastest guy in this group. So I'm sure he'll get back up there. Nath running there in 9th. Oh, nice little power slide twitch. So let's go through the field. So Dan is leading now from Mike. So we've now got a Ferrari 1-2. I'm sure there's many people that would love to see that this year. In fact, it's a Ferrari 1-2-3 because Pickles is there in 3rd in his Ferrari liveried car. Matt's running in 4th in his livery that he's been using all year. Sean there in 5th in his own livery. Zoe in a Gold Leaf liveried or Lotus Gold Leaf liveried car. And then behind Zoe we have Sean 2 in the Renault livery from when Alonso was at Renault. So we're going back to 2005, 6, 7 round there. Cez in his own livery. So just Sean says there, going to pull a move on Sean. So we're just lining him up through Blanchimont up towards the bus stop and down the inside. Yep, there we go. So let's just jump on board with Cez and go through a lap of Spa. So across the start finish line up towards the La Source hairpin, which is not quite a hairpin. So out onto the endurance start finish straight. This is what they actually class as turn 2 here at Spa. Now we come down to Air Rouge, which is the left-hander, and then Radion, which is the right-hander and the left-hander uphill. Onto the Kemmel straight, where, as you can see, we're in the slipstream of Zoe. We're hitting 210, 211 a mile an hour. Brake for Lacombe at the top of the hill. The old original Spa circuit carries straight on up to the left-hand side. Through that, now we come down to the Bruxelles hairpin and down the inside of Zoe. So yet another place made up. Through Speaker's Corner, or as it's been more recently called Jackie X Curve. Then we come down to this really, really fast double left at Coulon. And then, oh, sure, we just made a mistake, gone off driver's right. Then we come down to Piff Paff, this right left, or the Fangio chicane, some people call it. Then we come up to Paul Frere curve. And then we come up to Stavelo, which is where the old original circuit joins on driver's left now. So the old track comes back here on the left-hand side. Then we come up to probably one of the most famous corners on this, well, the whole track's got famous corners. Blanchimont, absolutely flat out. And then we come up to this bus stop chicane, this right-left, tight right-left, which is about the third or fourth incarnation of the bus stop chicane that I can remember. And then back across the start-finish line in 1:49.3. And that's actually says his fastest race lap of the race thus far. But Dan's got the overall fastest lap of a 49.2, so he's only a tenth off of what Dan has achieved. So up onto the Kemmel straight again. So these laps around Spa in these go really, really quickly. So through Lecombe, through the left, through the second right, and down towards the Bruxelles hairpin once again. Through Speaker's Corner, plunge downhill now, again towards Pouhon. Very, very slight lift. And then through Piff Paff or the Fagnes chicane. Up to Paul Frere. And then Stavelo and Blanchimont. And once again back up to... And says he's on course now for the fastest lap of the race. 0.177 inside Dan's fastest lap so far. That's assuming that Dan, Mike and Pickles or Matt are not going faster at the moment. So this could turn out to be the fastest lap of the race. So up to the bus stop, all the way down to first gear. All bit sideways, that's probably killed the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, not quite. Yeah, 1.3, so lost a load of time in that final bus stop chicane there. So there's Cez running in fifth. Let's have a look at the gaps. So we are, Dan is at Lecombe, Mike at Lecombe as well, Pickles on the Kemmel with Matt just behind him, you can see there in the background. Cez is now back up to fifth, so he'll be closing down all the time on the guys in front. Sean running sixth. So he's got past Zoe and the other Sean in his Renault liveried car. There are Sean in 7, Zoe in 8th with Richie right behind her. So Richie's made a great recovery because he dropped all the way down to 12th. Trying to find a way past Zoe. Richie out wide there, may even pick up a potential, no, hasn't picked up a penalty. So the other thing that we have here at Spa is because it is one of the few tracks on Gran Turismo 7 where it can rain, we do not have to use all 3 compounds of tyre. In fact, we can already see some pit stops going on. So lap 7, we've got Dan and Mike in. So Dan has used 95 litres of fuel, Mike has used 92, Pickles is in, used 97. So Matt's jumped to the lead. Cez into second. So we'll see where these... So who we got now? We've got Pickles, Mike, Dan, Sean and Sean in the pits. So Dan will be the first one out because he was leading when he came in. So Dan's back out in third. So we see, so Dan's just going through Air Rouge now, and Cez is at the end of, is up at Lecombe. Says fuel lights on, Matt's fuel lights on, so they're going to be into the pits this lap. So they've gone an extra lap further than Dan, Mike Richie's still out there on the same tank of fuel. He's not pitted, so for the moment he's jumped up to 5th. Pickles Run is in 6th, but he's stopped. Nate is 7th. He's gone a lap longer. Sean in 8th. He stopped as well. Sean in 9th. He stopped. Chavez 10th, but he has not stopped. In fact, he's probably got the most fuel of anybody left at the moment. Zoe running 11th and stopped. Michael running 12th and stopped. Ming running 13th and stopped. And Simo is just coming out of the pit lane, having made his first stop. So Matt leading from Says. So these two will be in this lap. The fuel lights on. So Matt coming right at the bus stop. And then Says following him in. So Dan will retake the lead. So this one's going to be turn out. So Dan done 7 laps. So Dan, Mike have done 7 laps. Richie's just coming into the pits as well. So this is going to be, and we've done 15 minutes. So these guys now coming into the pits at the end of lap number 8 have done 15 minutes, which means the guys that stopped at the end of lap 7 hadn't quite got to that 15-minute mark. So these drivers that are stopping now potentially could get to the end of the race with 2 more stops. Those that done 7 laps are going to need 3 more stops, unless somehow they can save the fuel and maybe they're going to have to do a stint of 9 laps to get them back on schedule, and I don't think you're going to be able to do that in this car. So there we go, we've got a great little battle going on here now between Sean, Zoe and Richie. Richie back out the pits on the fresh set of tyres. Sean and Zoe having stopped the lap previous. So Richie there in his David Coulthard inspired helmet. As for those that you don't know, that Richie is up there in Scotland, so a nod to his fellow countryman David Coulthard. So Sean, Richie and Zoe. So Richie should be able to get past Sean. He's probably the quicker of the 3 drivers. And then we've got Michael there just lurking in the background. So we've got a really good battle here going on. For 7th, 8th and 9th are really close together. And 10th just slightly off of them. So look back at Zoe here as we come through the bus stop, and that completes lap number 9, and we move on to lap 10. So jump to Sean, Richie and Zoe in the background. The sparks coming off the skid plates. Oh, Zoe's got a lovely run here. It's Zoe. Yeah, Zoe on the right hand side. Just nip past Richie there, going into Lacombe. And then we've got Michael there. We could just see him just in the Jordan in the background. So good move there from Zoe. Oh no, Zoe's gone off. Zoe's gone off at Speaker's Corner. So that's let Richie and Michael pass. So unfortunately for Zoe, she drops down to 10th. And has got rear end damage on the car as well. So we use on this weak damage, which means the damage will stay there for 30 seconds and then it will self-repair. So unfortunately with that little incident there, Zoe, competitive as that section of the grid is, has dropped from 7th, 8th place down to 10th. So we've got Ming running here in 11th. Nafe's dropped back to 12th after making a brilliant start and running as high as 3rd at one point in the first couple of laps. So just running wide there between Paul Frere and Stavolo. Chavez in another Ferrari inspired livery running 13th, and Simo in the absolutely brilliant looking McLaren, obviously with his Ayrton Senna helmet as well there. Absolutely brilliant livery there from Simo with the Honda Marlboro McLaren. And so we've got Dan still leading the way, just coming through Stavolo now. Mike running 2nd, just turning his way through Paul Frere and then now Stavolo. Pickles in 3rd. And we've got Cez right behind him in 4th. So Cez has got past Matt. Pickles is now on for the fastest lap of the race, which still belongs to Dan at a 49.0. So Cez looking down the inside at the bus stop. Yeah, oh, a little bit of contact there. Cez just backs off, let Pickles back. Will he have a nibble at him up at La Source? So you just about to see Matt there lurking in the background behind these two. So the other thing we need to bear in mind as well here is that the top 3, Dan, Mike and Pickles, all stopped at the end of lap 7. Cez and Matt went to lap 8. So the top 3 are gonna have to make an extra pit stop, I suspect, over Cez and Matt. So we will see how that all shakes out towards the end of the race. We'll keep an eye on the race timer as well. This race is an hour long, or 60 minutes. So we will see how that all pans out with strategy towards the end of the race. So great little battle going on here between Pickles and Cez, probably two of the fastest guys in these F1 cars. Cez has gone around the outside at Piff Paff. Wow, what a move there from Cesar. Absolutely brilliant. Pickles trying to get back at him around the outside of Paul Frere. Will he do it? While these two are battling, they're actually slowing each other down a little bit. And he's done it. Brilliant. What an absolutely fantastic battle between Pickles and Cez. Absolutely superb driving. Giving each other racing room. Cez is going to have a go back at him up here at the bus stop, is he? No, sits in behind him. Wow, what a couple of corners from these two guys. Absolutely brilliant. Cez round the outside of Piff Paff on Pickles, and then Pickles round the outside at Paul Frere Stavolo on Cez. Absolutely fantastic. So they've got it all to do again, although whilst this racing is absolutely brilliant and they're having a great race, they're actually slightly slowing each other down and letting Dan and Mike get away up front. So Cez is going to be in the tow all the way up the Kemmel here. So will he have a pop at him at a Lacombe? He's close enough. No, sits in behind him. Taking a little, no, I thought he was taking a little look. So here we are looking for the back of Pickles' car back towards Cesar. Through Pouron. We might just be able to see Matt in the background. Oh, yellow flags. Someone's gone off. Who's gone off? Oh, it's Mike. Mike has gone off. So now this is not a battle for third and fourth. This has now become a battle for second and third. So Mike, there we go. Mike's dropped down to fourth. So he made a mistake coming through Piff Paff. So you see Pickles and Cesar just ahead of him. Just coming up to the bus stop now. Oh, what a disaster. Such a great race there from Mike. So we've now got second, third, fourth together, and fifth, Matt just slightly off of them. Matt goes through La Source here. See all the sparks from the undertow scraping as they go through El Rouge and Radion to blue flag, so there's a slower car ahead as well. So this is all going to get quite tight. So let's go back up and see what's going on with these guys. So yeah, it's Pickles running. Oh, it's Nathan 14th just going off. Just keeps out of the way of those two. He's got Mike coming up behind him. And he's let Mike go as well. So we've got Mike running in fourth. Oh, Nathan just running wide. He just pulls to the left, driver's left. So Matt's passed Nath as well, so nobody's been held up there whilst putting a lap on Nath. So we've now got Dan way out in the lead on his own. In fact, Dan's into the pits now, lap 14. So time is at 26 minutes. So Dan is going to have to make this stop and two more. So we'll see if Pickles heads into the pits as well. If fuel lights on, so I suspect he will. So there we go, Pickles is in. Says we'll go through for another lap. So who else is in there behind him? That's Mike. So Dan, Pickles and Mike in the pits. So Says will go one first. Matt will jump up to second. So Matt and Says will do it on, look like they're on schedule to do it on 3 stops, where Dan, Pickles and Mike are going to be doing it on 4. Let's see what Richie does. Richie's gone through. So Richie's got a quarter of a tank left. So Richie's been really, really good on fuel on this stint. So Richie will probably do it on another 2 stops. So who's that just come out of the pits? He's just jumped ahead of Mike. So this is where it all gets a bit confusing because people are all on different strategies. So trying to keep track of who's doing what can be a bit awkward at times. So Mike there in 6 has made his second stop. Then you've got Michael will be in at the end of this lap, so he's on. Sean's in as well. Sean in and out. Ming in 9th. Zoe in 10th just stopped. So we've now got this overlap scenario going on with pit stops and strategy. Sean in and out as well. Everybody's obviously running on the soft tyre. Chavez up to 12th. Simo is in the pits. He's picked himself up a half-second track limit penalty. Nath is running 14th, but still going. These aren't the easiest cars to drive in the world. So Nath is fairly new to the racing as well, so he's doing a good job. Simo putting some more fuel into his car and away he goes. So he's just been lapped there by looks of things by Says is onto the Camel. Matt's gone through Erosion onto the Camel now. So they've gone. they've gone an extra couple of laps. So Sez and Matt are getting some decent fuel mileage out of their cars. Dan there running in third, so he's nearly caught back up to Matt. So Dan is taking care basically of that extra pit stop that he's going to have to do. So this is the kind of true race position at the moment. Dan's managed to make up probably 20 to 30 seconds already, sitting there in third. So Sez and Matt will be into the pits at the end of this lap. Dan will retake the lead. So Dan's looking good now, potentially for the overall win. Pickles there in fourth, so he's a little bit off, so it's going to get close between. So Pickles hasn't had enough pace, so Dan's made up the pit stop, so Matt and Sez will be into the pits this lap. So Dan should be looking good, so for the overall race win at the moment. So there you go, Matt into the pits, Sez is already in there, so Dan will retake the lead. So what will be interesting is where Pickles will come out in relation to Matt and Sez. So Pickles should go in front of both of them now, but he needs to make up time because he's going to have an extra pit stop to make. So there we go, yeah, indeed into second. He should come out. In fact, there's Sez now. So this is shaking itself out into its true running order now. So Dan leading, Sez second, Pickles 3, Mike there in fourth. But Dan, Pickles and Mike are going to have to make an extra pit stop over Sez and Matt. So Matt's got the slipstream on Mike, and look at the difference in speed there. That was just purely down to slipstream. So Matt's gone up to fourth, Mike down to fifth. So this is going to be really interesting. I think Dan's in a race of one at the moment on his own. I think no one's going to challenge Dan for the race win. We're about halfway through now, just over halfway through. So we've got Matt and Mike battling away for fourth and fifth. Richie in sixth, so there's quite a decent gap then between Mike and Richie. So I think the top five have broken away as such. Richie's recovered from that issue on lap 2, got himself back up to 6th. Sean there running his 7th, so he's made up. He qualified quite low, but he's made up quite a bit of decent time, and is now running in 7th behind Richie. Michael there in 8th, so there's a gap now between Sean in 7th and Michael in 8th, who's got the other Sean right behind him in 9th, and Zoe there in the background in 10th. We've got Sez and Pickles together. Dan's out on his own. He's coming through Pouon now. And then Sez is just coming out of Lacombe. So Dan's got a really, really comfy lead here. So Dan's looking good for first. So Sez and Pickles. So Sez has made 2 stops. Pickles has made 2. So yeah, Pickles is on half a tank and Sez is on 3/4 of a tank. So I'd expect to see on the way it's working out, I'd expect to see Dan, Pickles and Mike in at the end of lap 21. And then Sez and Matt come in the pits at the end of lap 24. And then Dan, Pickles and Mike will need to pit again at around lap 28. So we won't know until we've got another 10 laps to go before it really sorts itself out and we see who's where, except for Dan, who is basically got a pit stop in hand now over Pickles and Sez. So Mike there running in fourth, Matt behind him, but Mike is going to have to make 2 more stops and Matt only 1 more. So effectively Matt is about 20 seconds ahead of Mike because he's going to have to make 1 less pit stop. So Matt could just sit there and follow Mike and not challenge him for a position, and he'll have 20. He's got 20 seconds, at least 20 seconds in his pocket over Mike. Question is Matt within 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds of Pickles to jump him when Pickles makes that extra pit stop? So again, these two are fighting, so they're going to be slowing each other down. So they just need to get on with it and not fight each other to try and improve their overall race position. So we'll see. So we've got Pickles Sez battle going through in towards Piff Paff now, and we've got Mike and Matt coming through or towards. Pickles hasn't got 20 to 30 seconds over Matt. So Pickles has got another 2 laps to go yet. We've got laps. So we're on 19 now, so we've got 20 and 21 to go. And then he's going to be into the pits. This is going to be really, really close come the end of the race. Really, really close between Matt and Pickles. So Sez is kind of doing Matt a favour here by giving Pickles a bit of a hard time. Potentially slowing each other down. So Pickles has just run wide there. Sez is going to let him go. So these two are having a scrap, and then Mike and Matt behind are having a scrap as well. So it all kind of evens itself out. In the meantime, Dan is quite happily in the lead, churning out fastest lap after fastest lap. He's now lowered it down to a 48.4, which is pretty quick. So Dan is absolutely leaving everybody behind. So he's going through Pawn, and then Sez and Pickles are just coming through Lacombe. And so he's got a huge lead. Huge lead. So Dan is looking really good. 23 minutes left. So Dan's looking good for the win. Sez will be looking good for second because Pickles is going to have to make the extra stop. So Sez could just sit there, and he's got 20 seconds in it. He goes around the outside of Piff Paff again. Not the first time he's done that. So Sez has got 20 seconds in hand. Yes, Dan got 20 seconds over over Sez. So I think Dan's got about a 25-second lead roughly over Sez. Pickles has just made a mistake there coming out of the bus stop, which has now released Sez. So we'll see now if Sez can close that gap down on Dan. So Dan's going to be due in at the end of this lap. So Dan's been doing 7 lap stints, and Sez has been doing 8. Dan will be due into the pits at the end of this lap, and Sez has got another 3 laps to go and be in at the end of 24. So if Dan can get in and out of the pits and maintain the lead, he's looking good for the win. If he comes out and he's behind Says, then we're in for a fight to the end, because they will both have one more stop to make. Although, having said that, Dan's fourth pit stop will be slightly shorter than Says because he won't need as much fuel. So let's keep our eye on this one. Although they are not together on the track, it's gonna right. So there we go. Dan into the pits at the end of lap 21 and his 7th lap on that. So where's Says now? Says is now coming through Stavelot and towards Blanchimont. He's now on his own after that little mistake from Pickles. So Dan's not even at his pit box yet. Says is now through Blanchimont and up towards the bus stop. Dan is now getting his tyres changed and fuel is going in now. So Dan will take a full tank of fuel. Says is now out of the bus stop. Pickles is into the pits behind him. So there we go. Says into the lead. Will he come out in front? Dan's now got a full tank of fuel. Where is that? There we go. They are absolutely together. So this will now be a fight to the end of the race. So they've now both got one more pit stop to go. Says will be in at the end of lap 24 because he's doing 8 lap stints. Dan will be in at the end of lap 28 because he's doing 7 lap stints. Oh no, Says has binned it. Oh, Says. Oh, so that definitely gives the race win to Dan. Dan is clear and gone. Says recovering. Says he's dropped down to 4th place. So Mike now is up to 2nd with Matt behind him. So in amongst all of that, whilst watching the battle for the lead, Pickles has also come out behind Matt. So Mike has been able to manage to go an extra lap. I don't think that will be enough for Mike. Mike needs to get to the end of the race. Mike is going to need to pit on lap 24. I don't think he's got enough fuel to get... No, fuel lights just come on. If we look at where Mike is with fuel and then where Matt is with fuel. So Mike will be heading into the pits this lap. Yeah, Mike into the pits, Matt through into 2nd. Says to 3rd. Pickles to 4th. So this will work out really close, potentially between Matt and Pickles. So they've both got one more stop to make, so we'll find out a bit more in a couple of laps time when Matt and Cesar make what will probably be their final stop. If they get to 45 minutes, then it's going to be close. So Mike's back out there in 5th. Richie in 6th, closing down on Mike, but Richie's going to have to stop again. Mike is going to have to stop again, but he's only going to be for a splash and dash, 1 or 2 laps of fuel for Mike. It might not even be worth Mike changing tyres there. So Richie's 6, he's going to have to stop again. But that will be Richie's final stop of the race. He's got a quarter of a tank. Michael, if he can get this, and Michael's not, he's going to have to stop again for a splash and dash as well. Sean's going to be tight on fuel as well. So he's probably stopped on the previous lap, so he'd probably need to stop again. Ming running 9th. He needs to get to end of 24. He's He's not going to do it. He's going to be in this lap, so he's going to need another stop after this one. Zoe's looking good on fuel. Get to the end of 24, so Zoe can do it on one more stop. Sean on lap 23 is going to need to stop again. Chavez, he can do that. He can do that one more stop. Simo is going to be into the pits this lap, lap 22. So Simo might need to stop again, and Nathan will probably be all right. So we know Dan's going to have to come in around lap 28. He'll be doing 7-lap stints. Matt there running in second. They're on lap 24. So Matt will be in at the end of this lap. So what we need to look at is where Matt comes out in relationship to where Pickles is. So Matt's into the pits now at the end of lap 24. So Cez will be following him in. So this will be their final stop of the race. So we've got Pickles there come through. So Pickles will jump up into second. So Dan, Pickles, Mike will go to third, Willie go to third. Matt's out of the pits. So there's Matt. So Mike will have a run on him. Mike should get back past Matt, but Mike is going to have to stop again. So what Matt doesn't really need is a fight going on because he's chasing down Pickles, so they're not together on track, but they probably will be by the time Pickles makes his fourth and final pit stop. So that will be the battle between Pickles and Matt. Mike will have to stop again. Cez will be good on fuel to the end of the race, but he's a little way off of Mike and Matt, but will be quicker because he's just a really quick guy in these things. So Cez will be closing down the gap all the time. Richie there is in a comfortable 6th. Sean in 7th, again looking quite comfortable. So probably 1st, 6th and 7th are where they are. Michael in 8th. So he's looking comfortable. Sean in 9th is comfortable. Oh, I don't know, they're quite close. Sean and Ming. So we've got a battle going on here as well. I've just spotted between, who's that, Nathan and Simo running 13th and 14th. Simo's car looks absolutely fantastic. Absolutely brilliant livery, Simo. So Dan is lapped all the way up to Michael in 8th. So Michael just moves to one side, lets him go. Brilliant driving there, Michael. So Dan's pretty much got this one in the bag unless he decides to chuck it away, which I can't see Dan doing because he's very consistent, very reliable. So Dan looking comfortable for first, but this is the intrigue. Pickles there in second is going to have to make another pit stop. You know, mind you, he's dropped his lap times from 48s and 49s down to 50s. So is Pickles trying to make it to the end of the race on this tank of fuel? So Pickles is in that kind of tricky spot now where does he try and save the fuel and get to the end? Or does he kind of just go for it and have to make an extra stop? Either way, he's got Matt closing down on him. Mike there in fourth right behind Matt. But Mike is going to have to make another pit stop. Albeit a short one, he's still going to have to make another pit stop. And then we've got Cez in fifth and Richie in sixth. So the real intrigue for this race now is the battle effectively between Pickles and Matt. So Pickles and Dan Pickles and Mike are going to be in to make another stop. And Matt and Cez have now got enough fuel to get to the end of the race. This is going to be close. And all the time now we've got Cez closing in on Matt and Mike. We've got Richie there running in sixth. Michael in seven. Sean in eighth. So seventh and eighth are quite close on track. Are they both? So Michael over half a tank. He's probably good to the end. Sean, I think, is going to have to make another stop. He's only got a quarter of a tank of fuel. Ming will be good on fuel, so when Sean stops here, drop behind Ming and possibly Sean and Zoe, possibly. So that will be one to keep an eye on when Sean comes in. He's got a quarter of a tank left and 8 minutes. That's 4 laps, roughly. So that's right. So Dan, in theory, will be in on this lap. Fuel, yeah, fuel lights come on. But he's got a really decent lead over Pickles, so no issues here for Dan. Nice smooth stop, nice last 7 minutes or so of the race, and Dan should be good to take the race win. So Pickles will be in this lap. This is the one that we're going to have to watch. See where Pickles comes out. We can see in the background there Sean and Zoe quite close together. And the other one, we're going to have to watch the other Sean for when he pits. So will Pickles be in? Yep, there we go. Pickles is in. We'll stay with Pickles. Dan's way out in the lead. Dan has got a comfortable lead. So we'll watch this and we'll keep an eye on that totem on the left-hand side. Cez has now set the fastest race lap at an incredible 147.8. So Cez is absolutely flying. So he'll be coming up. There we go. Pickles is there. So we'll see where he comes out, how much fuel he's putting in. 60 litres. So where does Pickles come out? He's come out in 5th behind Mike. Can we see Mike anywhere in shot? So Mike is on Kemmel, and Sez and Matt are on Kemmel as well. So Sez has got past Mike. Oh, Sez has just got briefly held up there by Simo. So Mike is going to have to stop again. Or is he? Got a tank. Yeah. So we've got Matt with half a tank. Sez with virtually half a tank. But Mike's only on a quarter of a tank. So we're going to have a battle between Matt and Sez. So this is their net positions now. So Mike, unfortunately, we can kind of take out the equation for a little bit because he's going to have to stop. So this is... So yeah, we've got Matt running second. With Sez right behind. These two are good to get to the end of the race. There you go. Dan's gone through La Source now, so he's got a huge lead. Where Matt and Sez have just come through Blanchimont, so decent lead there for Dan, probably 10 to 15 seconds of a lead. So we've got to look out, is what we've got to look for, kind of got to ignore Mike in a roundabout way, because Mike, we know, is going to have to stop. It's this gap to Pickles here, so Pickles has just got past Simo and put a lap on him. So Pickles is there on fresh tyres and Pickles is there on fresh tyres and going for it. But it's this gap between Pickles and Sez that we need to be watching. So we'll keep our eye on that one. Sean has made his pit stop and has come out in 11th place behind the other Sean, and Zoe and Ming all got past Sean on that pit stop. Oh, the other Sean's come into the pits as well, so he'll drop behind. Will he drop behind? No, he won't. He'll be fine. So he'll be in 11th place, but let's get back up and see what's going on with Matt's running there in second. Got himself a small gap over Sez there. So what? Okay, so Mike has made his... Has Mike made his stop? No, he hasn't. So Mike has obviously had a problem. A quick spin or something like that, I just said. So yeah, he's had a 2:06 lap, so he's lost. So the question is, then so Mike is going through Piff Paff, so he's going to lose a place to Richie. Although having said that, no, he might, he might not. Mike might be all right to the end of the race. So we go back to second and third. So this is probably 20 seconds left. This will be the last lap. So Dan here just coming through Stavolo for the final time. The hour's up, so this is now the final lap. So Dan has got a huge lead. He's coming through Blanchimont, and Matt there. Oh, actually now Cez has just got past Matt into second place. So Matt down to third. So there we go. Dan across the line. Michael's crossed the line in seventh. Dan takes the win. Congratulations, Dan. So let's have a look at this battle for second. So we've got Cez, Matt, and Pickles there. And they're all, Pickles is absolutely been flying up to the back of Matt and Cez. All three, look at this. How Pickles... Matt trying around the outside of Cez. Pickles up the inside. Oh, it's all really tight. Oh, Pickles have gone wide. Cez is slow. Oh, Matt's had a spin. So Pickles comes through in second. Cez in third. Matt in fourth. Wow, that was excitement on the last lap at the bus stop. Mike here in fifth. It seems like he's backed it right off on fuel. Nate going really slow. I wonder if Nate's out of fuel. So Michael come through for fifth. Mike looks like he's run out of fuel as well. And then Richie through in sixth. Wow, what a race. Absolutely fantastic race there. So we've got Dan first, Pickles second, Cez 3, Matt 4, Mike 5. Wow, absolutely brilliant. So thank you for tuning in and watching. And next week we have a Group 3 race with full tuning at Goodwood. So a nice tight little track there for the GR3s with full tuning. So thanks for watching, and we will see you all hopefully next week. Cheers now.